Hi, this is Charlie Brawley here with part two of the interview with Sam. This is part two. If you're just coming to the channel and you're looking at this video, it's going to be very helpful to look at part one. But this is part two. It's about an hour long, real candid interview. So I happened to just started recording this in the process of us just talking. And Sam really does go on in this for a while, and I allow him to because he really did speak directly from his heart. Just to give you some background, Sam is a new person to the mentorship program, and I don't know, maybe I think he said in the first interview he was doing this for 12 hours. He was in it for 12 hours. He's up at least for 1 week. His first week. He's up 36 units. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but the whole point is that he did it straight. He never took a loss. Okay. So and as long as he's able to win that consistently, he'll forever be able to make the money that he wants. The maximum in terms of the game of roulette was 32. He's at 36 straight, meaning the game of roulette produced the maximum record of consistency of 32. The method that we have has it's already gone beyond 51 straight wins. You're not going to win 51 straight times if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. If you could win 51 straight times one time, you're going to be able to win it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. It's a complete understanding of the game. So anyway, this is part two, guys. Take care. It's long enough. I shouldn't have done so much talking, but part two is long enough. It's really good, though, so take your time. If you need to pause it, come back to it, go for it. But it's a really good, candid interview, or conversation, rather, with me and one of my students. So listen to this. Take care. Like I said, look at part one. And again, if you're interested in anything, permutationspro at gmail.com. It's the best place to do. Send me an email, permutationspro at gmail.com. Go visit the channel for any questions and answers, any updates for what we're doing on the website and stuff like that, mentorship program. I got a Q&A video up there that I recently just did, have a lot of emails, of course. So a lot of that stuff is answered there. But if you do have any questions or anything like that you want specifically about the program, send me an email, permutationspro at gmail.com. All right, guys, talk to you soon and enjoy the rest of the video. I do like progressions.
Well, progression can make things happen faster.
Very fast. Very fast.
Building a bankroll, if you're going to play this some and then use a progression for a little while, maybe you play this for an hour and then you're going to use progressions for an hour and build bankroll so you can up your flat bet, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it ain't no point. If I have a $3,000 bankroll, there's no need in me starting at $10 or $20 bet and run up to a $1,000 progression.
Right.
With a $3,000 bankroll, I can, you know what I'm saying?
I know, man.
I can run $200 flat bets or $100, $150 flat bets right there and make more money, make 5 to 10 times the money I make with the win of every progression.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Man, I'm just grateful, man. I can't.
No, I'm the grateful one, man. Hey. I cannot believe you're even offering this to anybody. I'm telling you, that's straight from the heart, man. Your heart is huge to want to help people. There's no question. You're not in this for the money. The money don't mean nothing. That $3,000 you got from me is pennies. You can go spend that on dinner somewhere. You don't need the money. This is all about heart.
Yeah.
And I can understand, the passive income later, of course, is going to make you put more people at a table for the same amount of time you play.
Right.
But man, it just still pennies. Just like you say on your videos, the casino is giving you this money. It's like sitting at an ATM.
Yeah. It really is,
got
man.
No overhead, no employees, no workman's comp to pay, no insurance to pay. You know, and somebody ain't never been in business don't understand none of that.
No, man.
Man, that cost alone in your business right there. Not even looking at startup costs. Don't even take that, man. Just take the liabilities you have. If you have a building, utilities, insurance, few employees, you know, you're paying health insurance on them. You're paying workman's comp insurance on them. All kind of liability insurances on the place, on the people, on the property you go on, you know, to do your job. Man, that eats your business for 70, 80%.
Right.
At the end of the year, you end up with 15 to 20, maybe 30% if you got a really good business and it's established.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay taxes on that. But people don't get that.
People don't understand
that.
Yeah.
They want to cry about some pennies when a casino's just giving them money. I got to laughing the other day. It was a guy sitting in there, and we was playing, and man, he was $500 and $600 a roll, just random throwing different size chips on numbers and seeing what he could hit, and he was down to about $3,000, and he hit 3 times in a row, and he was up $7,000.
Wow.
And he looked around at everybody, and everybody's like, "Good deal, man. You know, I was thinking cash out and get your ass out of here, you know, while you can."
Right.
And he was like, "I'm almost half my money back for the week." I'm
Whoa.
like, "Man, you are crazy."
Wow.
You know? And I thought about it. I was like, you know, just what I know, I could help this guy so much. But then I was thinking about it, and I said, you know, he played and lost all of his money, of course. Pulled more money out of his wallet and lost it too.
Oh,
and then left.
Wow.
You know, I mean, that's common. You know, you see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But I'm on the way home. And that was one of the days you told me to get 3, so I'd get 3 and go home. I didn't even try to push past 3. You told me to get 3, I'd get 3 and go home. I stopped on 3 in some streets. You know, just stop. Okay, you told me to get 3, I got 3, I go home.
Yeah.
I may follow directions too well sometimes or something, but but anyway, I'm riding home and I'm thinking about him. I'm thinking about some friends of mine, you know, that I'd love to get involved in this. And I'm thinking about all of them. And I said, you know, this would absolutely destroy most people. You think about the amount of money you can win, coupled with the amount of free time you would have.
Yeah.
99% of people, it would end their marriage to start with.
Yeah.
You know, any type of addictive personality is going to do a lot more drugs, a lot more gambling, a lot more women, whatever, you know, their thing is.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, when you think about that deep down, this would destroy most people.
Wow. Man.
Think about a young person. You know, I have young kids. My youngest will be 18 in October. I have 18, 19, and a 21. I don't want them to have this at all. The thought of it scares me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what a 21-year-old would do, the mistakes, and you know what I'm saying, the mistakes in the expense and the time off, and you know, a young kid could end up in prison somewhere just falling in with the wrong crowd with that much money and time. Yeah. You know, it's kind of scary.
It is very scary, man. You know, and that's kind
you
of.
You always worry about your kids, you know, so.
Yeah.
That's my kid, so I'm leaning that direction. You know, it's kind of scary, but I mean, most people may not think that, but that's just the way I would think. You know, I tried to raise mine right and safe and make the right decisions, and got 3 good kids.
Yeah.
But this could destroy them.
It could, man. You know,
a person needs to be well into their 30s before they even come into this. Kind of I guess, a personality and habits established.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to have some pretty good financial habits and some pretty good definitely some good moral decisions.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could definitely destroy yourself in no time.
Yeah, because it gives you what your neighbor, what 99% of the people will never get.
Nobody's gonna have this. Nobody.
And it's like, to have that kind of power. You know, you remember the movie Braveheart? I don't know if you ever watched it,
Oh
But
yeah.
remember when he was a
Yeah, me
kid?
and you're the same age.
Same age. Okay. Yeah, right. I forgot. You just sound so much older than me.
No, man, don't say that.
No, man. But man, that movie, I always thought about when the kid was trying to handle the sword and his daddy took it from him and he says, "No, you're not ready." He says, "But when you're
That's
ready,
right.
you'll be able to." And then of course he
Yep.
grew up to be Braveheart, but he was trying to take on something too big, too deadly, too fast.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I think one of the maybe the universal things or the God things about this whole me doing this is that it's only gonna hit what I think are the right people. And until it
Well, you're dealing with. I was thinking about something a while ago. You know, when they were just saying that how stupid people are, I was making sure you wasn't recording. I was gonna say something, but I didn't.
Go ahead, man.
It's a whole lot of stupid in the world. It's a whole lot of stupid.
It's a lot of stupid,
you know,
man.
And I'm gonna tell you, even as simple as you've laid this out, stupid's still not gonna get it because stupid is stuck in the negative comments. Stupid is stuck with roulette cannot be beat.
Yeah.
That's where stupid's stuck at, and it don't matter what you tell them, stupid's gonna stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. Stupid is as stupid does.
Yeah. Oh well, I've seen a couple of comments on some of your videos.
Yeah.
Where some lady, I don't know. I guess a lady got into the mentorship apparently with you. From what she's saying, I'm just reading between the lines, but from what she's saying, apparently got into the mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a scammer and all this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if somebody can prove to me that this doesn't work, I guess I'll go get me a job.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you can sit down and I don't care how you look at it. You can do the mathematics. You can do the statistics. You can do whatever you want to. Because this don't go by statistics. Everybody's hollering about statistics. The house still has a 5-point-something edge. That doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I'm not trying to beat it every spin. I just want to sit down and make money every time.
Right.
And that's working. You may tell me, you can prove to me that I can't beat it every spin. You can prove that. Right. I can't choose what number's coming out of that thing every spin. You're right. I can't do it. But you'll never prove to me I can't make money every day. Yeah. It ain't going to happen.
What it is, man.
But stupid will try to convince you. Stupid's going to stick with it. They claim they're looking at the numbers, but they're looking at the numbers in a perspective that the casino wants them to look at them at.
Well, I could tell you this too, man. Whoever that student, if they said they were in the mentorship program, no one has come to me with any of that. Okay, so
I'm just reading between the lines.
Well, if
she might have bought some systems or something.
Yeah, maybe I would say that. But if there is a student who feels like that, you know the number. And it's not just Sam. It's like, that's my whole thing. It's like, the number. Call me. Call us. Call any of these people I'm interviewing, because these people are doing it consistently, and apparently it's something that that you miss. So it's like that would be my whole thing to them is that but of course. I wouldn't get the call if that's the case. But then at the same time, Sam, you do have people who they'll get the system. And like I always have to tell folk, just getting the system, that's just how to do that system. It's not
an instruction manual.
Right. But if you want to know how to break down the game from a very deeper mathematical precise way, it's deeper than just buying a strategy. You know what I mean? That's all it is. No. It's all a great strategy.
Well, and that's another problem with a lot of people. They want to call you. Of course, they want it for $19.95, and you pay the shipping and handling on it. You know how that goes.
Right.
They want it dirt cheap. They want to buy one get one free. And then they want to plug and play.
Yeah. Plug and play.
They want something where they sit down and their little system says, put your money on number 17 right now. They put their money on it, they win and go home. That's what they want. They're not willing to work beyond that or study or research beyond that.
Right.
This is a plug-and-play society. Everything's gotten too easy.
Yeah.
I think me and you is the last generation of seeing things, without, we've seen times where there was no handheld phones.
Right.
There wasn't no cellular phones.
Right.
Hell, I remember when beepers came out.
Right.
The church was preaching against it because it was the devil.
It was the devil.
Yeah, it was the devil. It was sorcery, man.
Yeah. Well, we had to grow in knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no question. No question. But we're the last generation to even see that during times where you had to research and do things for yourself.
Yeah.
You couldn't pull out Google and say, Google, what's the size of an elephant turd or whatever, and it answers it.
Right.
We would have had to get in an encyclopedia, and if that didn't work, you got to fly to Africa and research elephants.
Yeah.
Go measure a bunch of turds.
Man, if anything, I wish I could really get people to see is the importance of time. They don't understand that.
Oh, man. No.
It's
because nobody has it.
Nobody has it, and they don't get it. And I'm just trying to say, listen, I'm going to show you a way to bend your time.
Time, Chauncey, the time.
Yeah.
Is more important to me than the money. I wouldn't know what to do with it. If I had $1 million today, I could probably spend $100,000.
Right now.
Probably 200,000 before the end of the year. And I wouldn't even know what to start spending $1 million on. I can't even fathom that. But the time.
Right.
Man, I remember what it was like when I was a kid. Man, you had all the time in the world. Till Mama called you in at nighttime or whatever. But, when you was playing with your friends, riding bicycles in the street or whatever, we done that when we was kids.
Right. Exactly.
But we done that when we was kids. But, man, you look back and you're like, it's the best time of my life. Everybody's best time of their life is when they was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you love your wife, your kids, whatever you've got now, the best time of your life is somewhere, I've heard a ton of people say it, somewhere around 12 years old if you really break it down. Mm-hmm. You're at that age, mama's letting you get out of the house, kind of go down the street, do what you want. She ain't too worried about you. Of course, we didn't have all the crazy killings and pedophiles and all we got now.
Right.
But, you kind of you was getting that freedom, that first taste of freedom, getting away from mama.
Yeah.
Man, it felt good.
Yeah.
But you also had a ton of time.
Yeah.
But since then, you look at people's lack of time since then. Mm-hmm. You got college. You got to go to work. You got to be at work every day. Well, I'm trying to save up the down payment on a house. So you're working overtime. The wife's working overtime. The kids has got 2 ball games at different times. Grandma's trying to help with that. And man, so many people's just, they don't have any time. And then you become a slave to that. You get so used to it. Your body, your mind, everything becomes part of that.
Yeah.
That hustle.
Yeah.
And then when you get old, your health's gone because you destroyed your health with all the hustle over the years, so you don't have time to enjoy retirement.
Yeah, because you've been stressed out.
I heard somebody say you can have 2 of the 3. When you're young, you got a lot of time, a lot of energy, and no money. Mm-hmm. When you're middle-aged working people, you got a lot of money, a lot of energy, but no time. Mm-hmm. When you're old, you got a lot of time and a lot of money, but no energy. This changes all that. Yeah. Changes all that. You're not working yourself to death. You got a ton of time and a ton of money. You got all 3.
Yep.
There's no better way. There is no better way.
And right. And then on top of that, there is no financial cap.
That's right. Yeah, go get in the stock market. And I don't care. Get with the guy I know. And the guy I mentioned from Merrill Lynch is real. He's right down here in Louisiana, a good friend of mine. And he averages 70%. This cat makes money. But you go with him, and let's say you do real good for 3 years, and you have a market crash, like we did, here a while back. Mm-hmm. And, what, the first year it lost 36%, something like 36, 37%. Next year was 40, 42.
40, yep.
And people's looking at it like, wow, man, that's 70%. No, it's not 70% loss.
Right.
You lost 37% of what you had
The first time, right.
The second year, you lost 42% of
Of
what you
that.
had left.
Exactly.
So you're closer to 80%. You need 10 to 15 wonderful years to get back where you was. If you're 50 when that crash happens at 65, you're just back where you was. You just tacked 10 to 15 years on to working.
Right.
Welcome to Walmart.
May I take your order?
That's it.
And
that's why you see so many of them doing it.
And then you see a lot of them jumping off buildings too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they don't have any control. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like when it all came to me, I was thinking about it was bigger than playing it. I was thinking about recession. This is the only way you don't make money ever in your life is if the casino crashes. If the casino crashes, we're all done anyway.
If it goes to the point, because usually a casino thrives during a recession.
Absolutely.
You know, everybody's trying to make up losses. And it's easy to take that $100 and go down there and say, I'm going to get 1,000. Help pay my bills. We watched it.
And the casinos losing the slots.
I watched a good friend of mine was my dad's friend. They handled racehorses and all together. He passed away. Mm-hmm. And during the recession, 09, it might have been 2010, might have just been coming out of the recession, but it wasn't back yet. Mm-hmm. That lady lost a ton of money in investments. You know, the racehorses weren't selling good. You know, their whole livelihood kind of went away. They had a 260-acre farm, $500,000 home on this farm. Mm-hmm. She lost it all at the casino.
Wow.
The whole place.
Wow.
And that's not the only person I know do that. I know another lady that lost a big farm south of here to a casino.
To a casino.
So that's what happens during recession. People try to make up their income.
Yep.
You know, take their last bit of money if they got a little chunk, try to make up their income. So casinos thrive during recession. If the casinos go down, we're all struggling for food.
That's what my whole point. And again,
we're fighting over food at that point. We're just trying to survive.
We're trying to survive at that point.
The dollar don't even mean nothing no more. You can't even trade it anymore.
It doesn't even matter. Even if everything switched to Bitcoin, we will still be at the top. It wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. No, you wouldn't be able to buy nothing.
That's the reason people are like, oh, you're going to invest in this, you're going to invest in that. I'm like, no, my investment is bigger than investments.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's bigger than that. It's way bigger than what you think.
That was, you know, I told you I was in the middle of studying for that Series 6 license. And that index is really the cons to the market is what made me start looking back at roulette again.
Yeah.
Because there's so many cons to the market.
Right.
There's so many downs.
You can't calculate it all.
There is no way now. You know, here I'm trying to get a license, and all I have to do is go take the test. Mm-hmm. But what am I going to do once I have the license? I got to talk my friends and family into putting money into this market. I couldn't sleep at night if I knew I talked my friends and family into putting all their money in the market.
Right.
Because I know they're going to lose it.
Right, because you can't control it.
You look at how much money goes in the market. I don't know the numbers. You may know the numbers. You look at how much goes into the market and how many individuals actually make money in the market long run. Oh, and how many lose? I guarantee you it's under 5% long run.
Yes. Okay. Statistically, I do know for sure, and I was just studying this. It behaves just like the business market. The first 4 years, you have a 50-50. The next, first 4, you have 50-50. The next 5 after that, there's just a 10%. So only the 10% of all businesses end up lasting anyway, just the same way as, you know, those guys who are investors. In about, if you're good, if you can last for 4 years, you'll be all right. You mentioned that, you know, in 3 years, what happens in 3 years? Well, you'll see market conditions happen when presidents tend to go in and out. And so market conditions do change like that. So when you can't calculate, and this is the reason why a lot of Forex traders are coming on my side, because they're getting it. You have to be able to be in a variable controlled environment. the market is too volatile. You guys heard of those terms, I mean, you've done this. So people, when you know like the market's too volatile, then what's not volatile that has an A/B algorithmic chance of a win, like the stock market does? Roulette.
This is the only thing I knew. Because I'd studied it about 4 years ago. Didn't get anywhere with it, but I'd studied it hard.
Right.
You know, most of it just turns out it ain't worth the time you put in because you get up pretty good and then you lose, you know, and it just plays out pretty much to zero, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt like I'd done pretty good for the 10 months that I hammered it to come out at zero.
To come out at zero, right.
Not a big, huge loss, but came out at zero, so I felt like I'd done pretty decent at it.
Right.
You know, but I knew it had to be a way, and I'd been studying that index anyway. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, it goes up and down just like a roulette does, you know. But I still, you know, I'm not a real super tech savvy person or none of that. I wouldn't have been able to use all these fancy computers to run all this information. I would have never got it if it wouldn't be for you. There's no question. You know, I would have done a lot of research for months like I did last time and finally just be like, okay, this ain't worth the time. You know?
Man, I reached that place a few times, man. Like there was a lot of times where it seemed like I kept coming back to the same answer. Right. And I was like,
that's what I done 4 years ago. It just kept coming back to the same thing. Either you're gonna have a big loss,
right,
or you spend time and be patient and make the best decisions you can make, and you end up at zero by the time it all plays out.
Man,
you're up for a while, you know, but then you're pretty much back at zero.
Dude,
one loss or two losses in a month takes your month to zero.
Takes the right. If
you have 3 losses in a month, it takes you in negative.
You know what?
So you're pretty much a trader. Yep. Yeah, you're pretty much a big trader. That's pretty much what you're doing. You know?
Right. But you know what it was? I could not. It took me a long time to calculate time. That was the missing variable of it all. So I understood how to overcome it from a win perspective, but how to evade losses, how do you calculate time in the equation?
Man, that's the biggest thing right there is we didn't even talk about that. But the biggest thing is not the wins. It's not the wins. It ain't the wins. The wins will come.
Right.
They'll come. The wins are going to come. The losses are going to come in every game, every time you sit down. The wins and losses come. But if you can evade the losses, even in the stock market, you can make the little wins, the little stocks that go up.
Right.
That'd be great.
Right.
If you just knew when to get out of these stocks that's going to drop in the morning to evade 60% of your losses.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Huge,
You're way
bro.
up. That is huge.
Yeah.
That's millions and millions of dollars just evading. You don't have to evade them all. If you could evade even 50%.
Yeah, 50. I was going to say 40,
huge.
But
yeah, probably even 40. But that's huge. Huge.
Man.
But we didn't even talk about evading the losses, but that's exactly what this system does. You're going to get the wins.
Yeah.
It just does so good at evading the losses.
Well, and the only reason that is because of the algorithm is based in time. That's the reason why, and time is money. But when you understand the nature of the game, it goes back into saying when you have a limited amount of variables, in this case it's 36, you had 2 zeros, 38, 38. So when you have a limited amount of variables that all run in 45 seconds, it produces a permutation. That permutation is always going to be limited to a certain amount of things in time. So when you're considering how to calculate a strategy, you got to consider the time. So I was always, okay, you could do this strategy and that works, 100, 90% chance, it's going to work. Yeah, but you didn't know that it was going to screw you the moment you sat down.
Right.
You
can.
But it can.
I've seen it change. I've seen it change immediately.
Right.
And in the next 15 spins, end up down 4 units.
You're down. So it's like, well, how do you evade that? Well, Your strategy has to be built around the system, but it also has to be done in time. The
Right.
allure of the casino is the 45 seconds. The dopamine effect that happens on a consumer is because they go to work every day, right?
Yeah.
And for that hour, they make $20, 25, $30.
But they only see that money once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Even worse, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So when they
Right.
come to the Golden Nugget or wherever casino they're going to, that same hour, they made $2,000
Right. And seen it in their hand immediately.
and seen it in their hand.
Yeah. They don't have to wait for it, and there ain't no taxes took out of it. You know, if they done it right.
Therein is the creation of the gambler.
Yeah.
It's because what they were able to do is offer him something that in his world never happens. Ever.
You know, I watched a YouTube video the other day on addictive gamblers, things like that, you know, and I'm like, I keep looking at roulette. I learned to count cards in blackjack. Easy, nothing to it. Easy to count cards, but you're going to sit there for hours with a huge bankroll, and you're going, when it counts up, you're going to get 5 to 6 spins, 5 to 6 hands in, and you've only got a 51, 52% chance of winning it anyway. So you're not going to win them all.
Right.
Oh, that's huge changes in your bankroll. Yeah, I played that for about 2 months. I was like, nope, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So, but,
yeah.
But I was watching this video, and I was like, well, you know, maybe I am a gambling addict. Maybe, you know, I keep looking at this stuff, and maybe I am.
Right.
Even though I'm not a gambler. I didn't go to casino after I was done with roulette. I ain't been in a casino in 4 years until I started looking at the permutations and seeing that they would work, went down, done some testing, they worked. You know, so I'm like, well, whatever this guy is selling is awesome. I got to looking at the selling stuff, you know, the videos on that, and I run across the mentorship, and I was like, okay, he's figured it out. He's figured out what I'm looking for, and you have. You figured it out. But I was thinking, well, maybe I am, you know, maybe I am an addictive gambler, you know. So I watched this video. This guy was wondering if he was, because he was addicted to decks of cards. He done card tricks and all this. Well, his dad was an addictive gambler. He ended up in prison over it, owing people money. And he went and had to a brain institute and had some scans done where they run some tests on him and compared it to other addictive gamblers. And he wasn't addictive. He didn't have the addiction. But when they showed the brain scans, they put him in a room with a little small slot machine. And give him some money, and you know he made his bets and all that. And they scanned his brain wavelengths while he was in there, and they said an addictive gambler most time is born that way. Their brain, it showed the difference in his chart and theirs, and just the sound of that machine kicked in that dopamine effect.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I wouldn't have thought that. You know, I would have thought it was something. Hey, you went and sat down, gamble with a friend, you know.
Yeah.
You won a bunch of money, and you're just thinking, I can do this, and you just keep on until you're broke. You know, that's what I thought an addictive gambler was. But apparently it's something that triggers in their brain as soon as they don't even have to be winning. Yeah. They can be losing, they still get the dopamine effect just from the sound of the reels and the coins and all that on the machine.
That's the reason why it's so loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, and then they don't even, like, you know how we always talk about chasing things. You know, you're chasing losses and stuff like that. Well, again, you're talking about dopamine, so you're already emotionally wrought when you've lost. You know what I mean? Now
you're high as a kite.
High as a kite, probably both. And so you're emotionally wrecked, and then you got all the sounds of winning happening all around you. Yeah. Another dopamine effect.
I forget what it was. Right, yeah. I forget what it was that they was talking about. I forget how much it was. It was in the millions that Bellagio spends every year just in cents. They put smelling stuff, spray smell stuff in the air ducts to make it smell like some part of southern Italy. Yeah. In their casino. And that affects the addiction too.
Yeah, it
And I
brings.
was like, wow, if the casinos are spending that much research to keep you there and keep you losing, you can't spend 2 weeks worth of research to go down there and have none of that affect you and walk out a winner every time.
Right.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
They spent billions in research to figure out how to keep you there. But you can't spend $3,000 in a couple of weeks of practice and study to beat them every time.
The thing is, if you think about it, the reason why the banks, and I call them the banks, okay, the reason why the banks spend so much money on redirecting your behavior is because the answers to the riddle it's almost like a magician, all right? Um, you look at a magic show and the sleight of the hand, you know what I mean?
Sleight of hand.
So it's like, it's kind of right in front of you, but I gotta distract you so that you don't really figure it out. So
yeah, as long as you're having a good time, you're okay with it.
Yeah. And then they give you.
You'll get mad on the way home and said you should have quit 2 hours ago while you was up $3,000, but you'll get over it and you'll be back next Monday. That's what they see. That's how it works.
And your ears gonna ring all night with the sound of ding, 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 ding.
Oh, no doubt.
So you still have the sound of instant win in your brain cells. Yep. So that mentality, it translates into how you even approach it. Imagine going into, I was talking to a friend about athletes. They was like, athletes make too much money. No guy should make $1 million or $250,000 every game. I said, well, imagine being in an environment every day where your job was to do the very best you could while everyone around you told you how much they hated your guts. They talked about your mother. They spit on you. They hit you. They beat you for 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight. And you still had to overcome that.
And had to do your best.
And
prove everybody wrong in a limited amount of time.
I was like, we go to work every day and we don't have no one. If anyone said anything about our mothers on our job, we'll go to the HR and then have them try to be fired.
I'm not going to the HR, Chauncey. I'm fixing to get fired. I'm fairly violent. I'm fixing to get fired.
But
I was raised in a rough neighborhood, man.
But you're gonna lose that revenue. But in a professional athlete's life, he has to have so much discipline that in spite of what you just said about my mother, I still have to be better and greater.
Yep. That's right.
And these people make millions.
And keep a smile on.
And keep us right.
You got to keep a smile on. If your smile's removed, then the media tries to destroy you.
The media, right? So you got to be on point, despite of what's happening around you. The casino,
they're under a lot of pressure for sure.
The casino environment is almost the exact same way. Everything around you is trying to keep you away from from just completely dominating it. Mm-hmm. But you still have all the control. You just need to know exactly what to do. That's the reason why they go to practice every day. After the game, Michael Jordan he'll go shoot more layups, or Tiger Woods, or whatever these people are, or they still go out and practice so that when it's time to play, despite all the distraction, oh, I lost a unit, I lost 2 units, oh, I should give up. It's like, no, I know the game. So it doesn't matter if you lost. I know the game. But in our world, man, we don't have, like you said earlier, we don't have the overhead. If we equated it back to business.
You have none. You have all the asset and none of the liability.
You have all the upside.
Yep.
All the upside.
All it is upside.
Man,
all it is upside. It's free money. You don't even have to work for it.
Man, it's such a blessing, bro. Like I often say that, and because it's freedom to me, but it's so beyond my imagination that if I didn't say anything else, I probably would lose my mind. Like if I didn't tell anybody, I would probably think I'm crazy.
Oh, it'd eat you up, man. It was too big of a heart not to say nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell that. You can just there's no way. You know, give this to a banker and see how many people he tells. Give it to a lawyer, see how many people he tells. None. He won't even tell his family. You know, and here you're offering it to people like me that don't even know you.
But it's too far-fetched, man. It's too far-fetched. That's the reason I'm doing it, because it's too crazy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the change, just like you was talking about in one of your videos, how it's changed. You know, man, I look at people and I'm like, that guy's working himself to death. You know, he's never going to retire. He's not going to get to retire. You know, I'm watching these baby boomers that I know starting to retire, and I'm like, you know, 3 or 4 years, you'll be back to work.
Yeah.
One little down, a pretty good down year in the market.
Yeah.
You're back to work.
You're back.
Your life savings in your giant house, that the property taxes is through the roof, utilities is $400 to $600 a month, insurance is $400 to $600 a month. Well, heck, all that added up is just as much as your house note was.
Yeah.
You know, you got this big old house, you and the wife live there. Now your health's gone, so you got all these medical bills and, you know, all this stuff coming in. You need to be making the same money or more that you was working.
Right.
And how many people retiring can do that? None of them. Hardly any. It's a few, I guess. But 99% of them are trying to retire on an income that's 30 to 50% of what they made on their job.
Yeah.
And the least little down in the market, you know, market dropped 20%, which it can by the end of the year.
Yeah. Easy.
As crazy as things are going, it can do that easy.
Yeah.
You have a 20% drop. Welcome to Walmart. You're back to work.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Now you're 65, 68. Nobody's gonna hire you. You can't do what you used to do.
Man, listen, man. You know, there's this old saying, word to the wise. I wish, man, and I really mean this, I wish to God that, I mean, I thank God that, you know, things worked the way that they did, but let's say they didn't. Given what I know now, if someone had offered me this, what I understand about money and time and the market and stuff, like if someone showed me this, if someone showed me permutations, I would have believed them. But to see this, it's
this is way beyond the permutations. I mean, way. I looked at the permutations and I'm like, this will make money. It's gonna take a good bit of time,
but it'll make some. Right.
Yeah, it'll make money.
But this is the most annihilating.
Yeah, this is way beyond that.
Yeah, it's. But again, man, I'm not really worried about it because, like I said, it's so far fetched. It's so crazy to think that you could actually do it. And because of that reason, it's the reason why I haven't even built the entire team yet. It's because it is far-fetched. No one really does believe it, but the few people who do get it, they're just like you. They're like, holy.
Oh, yeah, they know it.
Yeah.
They know it. There's no way. There's nothing. I guess the only way you'd stop doing it is if Jesus come down here, you on the shoulder and said, look, you need to stop doing this. You know, I mean, at that point, I'd have to say, yes, sir. You know,
right.
Okay. You know,
Man.
I wouldn't even question it. You know, I wouldn't even question it.
But
I need to stop before a whale swallows me or something. You know.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you come out on a video tomorrow and said, guys, I was wrong, and this stuff doesn't work, I'm going to keep doing it.
Well,
because it works. I'll be like, Chauncey done lost his damn mind. He done got on some good stuff or something. I don't know if somebody got a gun in his head.
So he's reading the paper.
Something going on. This is some kind of joke or something. Let me get to the end of the video, see where he says he's joking.
Man, hey man, it's amazing. It is.
Is what it is.
It really is, man.
It's really unfathomable.
Yeah.
You know, just like I told you the first time we talked. You know, and you're picturing yourself right now. You know, you're still pushing to this and other things, and you know.
Right.
But like I said, man, what's going to be your knowledge and drive and passion 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? when you're just, I mean, there's no doubt you're going to be further out there than you are now. What people call out there, guys out there.
Right.
He's a nut. Oh, okay. All right, I'm okay. Call me a nut. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Which pocket would you like me to buy you out of? I mean, but 5 years really mentally, man. You've done something. You have done something that nobody else has done. Nobody. Apparently, nobody in history. I don't know how many hundreds of years of this game. Maybe there's been somebody and kept it to themselves. But they would have had to keep it to themselves, but you've done something nobody else has done. And man, that's an amazing feat in itself.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to accomplish more things that nobody's done.
Wow.
I mean, you definitely ain't giving yourself credit where you as much credit as you need, man.
Hey, man.
You've done something amazing. You've done something that, I mean, I don't know how much population's here on the earth. But I mean, and you can't even calculate what's been here in the past. Even let's say 400 years of people, billions and billions. You're one in that many billions.
Wow.
That we know of that's conquered this, man. I don't think you've even thought about that.
No, man, not like that.
But I mean, you done it.
You know what, man?
You're the same as the guy that put the man on the moon. That made that successful. That you're the same thing. You talk about we can put a man on the moon, but we can't beat roulette. But you're the same as the man. Only one man.
Wow, man.
Could be successful at putting somebody on the moon when nobody done it before him, and you just done the same thing with roulette, man.
Bro.
No, that's what I told you that day. I said I don't care. Maybe you told me. You said, just if you keep studying it, you don't have to get the mentorship. You keep studying, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have, but even if I would have, there is no way that me and you's not tied together from now on.
Yeah, bro.
I'm going to tie myself to somebody. As far as I'm concerned, you're the smartest person that I know, period. I'm going to tie myself to that person.
Wow.
I want to be around that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. I come off to a lot of people in a lot of different ways, in a lot of capacities, and a lot of people don't understand. Like, I feel like I'm no different than anybody else. I'm no different. I just, for whatever reason, I was just allowed to see things differently. Like I told you, it's for I it started when I started smoking weed, and
here we go.
Here the truth comes. Here the truth comes. But it did, and I often tell people what happened with me, and my cannabis story is a little different than most, and it slowed me down, like, because I was thinking so fast. I was a businessman, so, and I was a businessman, and as a business guy, you're always thinking about the next thing, the next move, the next thing. You never really have time.
2 years from now.
Right. And I got so stressed out, and I was always, a really progressive, person. And so I don't see myself different, but when I began to slow down and just think, and I started asking a lot of questions. And when I started to ask these questions, particularly in business, I was saying, wait a minute, man. If it's all about when we go to the bank and the bank looks at our risk portfolio and then they say, okay, we'll give you this money, but we need collateral because we can't calculate how we're going to get this or how we believe you'll do it, but we can't make the calculus. So because we can't make the calculus, we need collateral.
Yeah, the variable's beyond you.
It's beyond me.
Right. They can see you have the work ethic and you have the knowledge to do the business.
Right.
But just like you said, it's the variables that you can't calculate.
And it took me $250,000 of debt to learn that lesson. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so this whole time, products and services, this whole banking thing, it's all about risk, reward, time, and money. And I'm like, I've been going about it wrong the whole time. I got to figure out the risk part. Well, how do I lower risk? Well, you got to get rid of people.
Yeah, number one is people.
Right, so you got to get rid of that.
So that cuts a lot of risk and a ton of liability and cost.
Jesus, man. If it's about if people go into business and it's all about the money, the first thing you got to do is assess the risk. The first and the biggest risk you're going to have are your employees. Now, they can also be your greatest liability, but you got to calculate the risk, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
if it's purely about X and O's, I don't care what business it is, if you can automate, the better. If you have a sales engine that can be on autopilot, you will not hire any salesperson.
That's right.
But so when I'm buying all these systems, I'm always figuring out how to delineate risk, Well, how do you do it on the sales cycle? How do you do it on the marketing cycle? And I'm like, gosh, you still can't make the right calculation. So that's when the first thing I started looking at was the stock market.
Yeah.
But of course, I had to slow down. Life slowed me down. I was like dead broke. And the only thing I used to smoke was Black and Miles. And if I could afford weed, I would smoke weed. But my life was so slow at the time. And it afforded me this time to think. And so
there you go, man. I was supposed to say that's where your time came in.
There my time started to come in.
Start asking them big questions. When you sitting around and you're broke and it just ain't. I've been there. Ain't nothing you can do.
You know what I mean?
Big questions start, man.
Big questions. And so I'm asking these questions, and I started thinking about the stock market, and then the whole up and down. And I'm like, well, how can you win on the up? Well, you can't predict the downs. And then that's when my sisters, I mean, I was still doing some business at the time, but everything was failing, right? So that was when my sisters told me to come to Vegas with them, and they paid for me to come out. I've told this story before, but they paid for me to come out there, man. And when they paid for me,
heard this story.
Oh, you haven't? Well,
no, I hadn't heard it.
Well, they paid for me to come out to Vegas. This is my second time in my life going to Vegas.
Well, I heard you say you'd only been to a casino twice and didn't gamble either time.
Either time.
I heard you say that.
Well, this the second time I did. When they brought me out there, I had no money, and we went out drinking. It's actually my birthday, and I had no money. They even gave me some money. It was like $50 or something like it. My sisters never do this, right? So I always, at that point, I knew it was almost kind of divine, but I had learned to just follow the universe, because when you get down to nothing, you're looking for any way out. So
you're looking for anything.
I just okay, I'll go. And I just had that kind of I'll go in my whole mentality. So went to the casino and I saw roulette. And when I saw roulette and I saw how many people were winning, the first thought to me was, well, if people are winning, then it's as long as you know how to consistently win, why wouldn't you do? And so I began to study it, and then it just dawned on me, wait a minute. These variables, look at this. It's limited. And holy God, like, you can do this all day. So I did the first video about permutations, and I equated it to the stock market. I also equated it to a lock, like a you know how a lock on a combination lock on a locker. So like you say you have 5 slits, and each of these slits have a wheel on it. So like so it go through 0, 1 through maybe 5, right? So you have 5 different opportunities to get each slit right. If you don't get it right, I'm gonna win, right? That's the whole concept of permutations, is that you got 5 spins. It has to go red, black, whatever it is. If it doesn't do that, you become a winner.
Yeah, you're pretty much telling the table that you have to run a perfect game on me to beat me.
To beat me, right?
You have to be perfect.
You have to be perfect. And that
and
works.
And you have to be perfect every time out. To beat me in the long run.
In the long run.
You may do it one time, but you got to do it every time that I'm here to beat me in the long run.
To beat me in the long run. And that was the thought of permutations. And so when I did that video, 52,000 people hit the video. And I turned it and I deleted the video because I said, "Oh, I think I cracked something." And so I deleted the video and I said, and actually I started to study more. But at that point, I knew I had cracked something.
Yeah, you knew you was on something.
Oh God, yeah. So for the next 3 years, it's what led me all the way up to this point. And I tell you the truth, I didn't realize that financial freedom was found at a casino. And when we speak about freedom, freedom from liability and risk and time and worry, what's the best way to do it? How do you really establish it? The banks sell the concept of playing at a casino against that ideology. So you would never think that you should study it as a way of freedom.
Yep, that's right.
But if you think in terms of business and how money is made and how to delineate risk, if you really open your mind to how money is moved via the banks, which they run everything, what's the most biggest profitable vehicle that the banks have? The casinos.
Free money.
Free money. They don't have
We're looking at it as free money to us, but that's the way they look at it too. It's free money.
Oh God. The only thing they have to pay for is the allure and attraction. But they know they're gonna bank on it. They know this.
Yeah, they can absolutely figure all the risk factors in there.
You know,
just like we're looking at. They can figure that's the best business. That's the lowest risk business they can get into.
They could get into.
That's the lowest risk business they can do.
They can't even loan enough money to equate to how lucrative the casino business is for them.
Oh, absolutely. I'd like to know what just take a bank in a big casino out in Vegas. I'd like to know what the bank actually profits a year off of one of them banks compared to what they profit from their loans and things like that.
Well, the banks are become venture partners of these large conglomerates. Say like the Winds. I guarantee you, J.P. Morgan or some banking official is on the board. Like the banks and these owners all run hand in hand. Okay, no question, because it's way too much money happening. But the reason why the casino industry doesn't take over is because people got to work. But I swear to God, if no one worked and the only thing they did was gamble, the casinos would love that world. But we don't live in that world.
Let's hope we never do.
I mean, it would be great for it'll be great for us. It's just bad for the world.
Yeah, but it's very few of us.
Yeah, it's bad for the world.
Everybody around you'd be suffering so bad.
Suffering.
Yeah, it'd make you miserable, or it'd make me miserable, and I know what kind of heart you got. It'd make you miserable to watch that many people suffer.
Man, well, it'll be a war.
You're doing as well as you want to do.
Jesus, man, but that's the reason why I don't mind. I don't mind selling, or I don't even call it selling it.
No, that's pennies. You ain't selling.
Yeah,
that's pennies.
It's almost like giving it, because I know it's already too far-fetched, number one. Number two, I know that people are going to get in their way, so not everybody's going to be great at this. But number three...
Have you had any students that didn't make it?
I've had a couple, I ain't gonna say a couple, maybe one student who, and I may have mentioned this on videos, who would say, hey, I want my money back, and I offered to do this with him.
Well, you told me about him.
Yeah, but other than that, students, I haven't gotten emails or a phone call about, hey, I have just completely bombed out. I haven't gotten that call, or email. So, but like I said, I tend to think that, I understand people got lives and stuff like that. But if you really are interested in this completely, like if you, and you've studied it like you've done, and you're not calling me, I guarantee you it's only because you're making a ton of money and you're stealing.
Yeah, and there's no question. There's no question you're making money.
Yeah, so I mean, I got plans for that too. It's like if people think they're gonna get away in the end, they're not. But so I got plans for that. It's all you don't think of this and not think of all the other stuff, So um, I didn't just sit and think of a strategy of how to do it. I also thought of a strategy of how to sustain it, how to grow it, how to deal with people who would think they're getting away with it. You
Yeah.
know, everything happens in time, and I've learned patience through the whole process. So it's all good. So I'm not tripping on it, man.
So are we gonna all of us get together and put masks on and catch them at night going out to their garbage can?
Yeah, that's part of the plan,
Okay. I'm in.
But
I think that way, man. I was a sergeant in arms for a national motorcycle club for a while.
Okay.
If somebody messed up, it was my job to go get them.
Well,
so I think that way, and somebody I can't stand it. My daddy was the same way. I can't stand injustice.
Man,
I can't stand a liar. I can't stand a thief. I can't stand somebody doing somebody wrong. I can't stand somebody putting their hands on a woman. I can't go. They're fixing to get hurt, or I'm gonna get hurt. One or the other.
Right.
I can't stand that.
Yeah.
And somebody like that to get into the mentorship, sign a contract with you, and then just disappear. I'd just soon catch them outside their house and just beat them till I can't beat them no more.
Well, you know what? We'll use money for that. So that's the reason. You make money because you take money, and money solves those problems.
Yeah, I know.
So
everybody says violence don't solve nothing. Man, I've seen it solve a lot in my life.
Yeah, nah. Well, it might. After you put.
It does, man. A little blood poured on the ground, it changes a man for a long time.
Long time.
He got a brand new attitude. Friendly fella next time you see him.
And I tell you another thing that does it is when you're actually in the street. When that'll change you.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I'm not gonna hold you long, Sam. I appreciate your time, bro. And like I said,
man, I appreciate your time. Your time's a lot more valuable to me than mine is to you.
But you got to understand that this is what fuels me. Like these moments, like having talked to students, and like I said, it's not just you, but I got a few students who are really doing well. But it's just to see that it's almost like to know that it's coming from me. It goes beyond any high I can get. I swear to God, it does.
I imagine, man.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
It does.
I mean, there'll come a point where the money doesn't mean anything to you. I told my wife that. I was like, there would get a point where money means nothing. If you're not struggling to get it, it don't mean nothing to you.
Yeah.
If you got all the time in the world, is time gonna mean something to you? That worries me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna start wasting a lot of time? I ain't the kind of person that sits and watch a lot of TV or anything like that. If TV's on, it's on YouTube. I'm trying to learn something.
Right. That's it.
But I told my wife, I said, ain't no telling what I might get into years down the road. I said, man, I may fund some research project or something, some archaeological dig or, just something crazy.
Bro.
Something that hits my mind, that, man, I'd love to see that or I'd love to do that,
Yeah.
It just ain't. There's no way to know. Just like I was saying about you, there's no way to know what you'll be doing in 5 years, man.
Man, it's got to be something amazing.
It'll be something amazing.
It will be, because I see the track that I'm on, and
it'll be something amazing, man. You not only did you figure this out, man, you got a big heart for people. When you got a big heart for people, I've been involved a little bit. Back when my business was really booming, I got involved with St. Jude's charity, and a few local ones. And man, I've given money to charity before, but when you start giving time to them, it does something different to you than the money.
Yeah.
That little old check you wrote last year don't mean nothing, compared to the time you're putting in with them there.
Right.
It does things inside, man. And I know what you're talking about, to accomplish something and then see somebody else take it and be able to accomplish the same thing with it. It means a lot.
You know what I was thinking? Maybe it's because I don't have any children. It's like when you see you're giving birth to something and it's beautiful. it's like amazing to you.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it is. It's amazing to me. Like my entire life is I shake my head every day or every other day. I just look at where I'm at right now, and it's a marvel to me. And so I feel obligated to, man. I feel obligated to to share this. Like I can't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine, man. I can imagine me trying to hoard this. The only way I could be a hoarder of this is if I didn't get it the way I got it.
Yeah.
You know, I got it through a certain
Hard work,
kind of way. Yeah.
research. And just almost like you got it and you wasn't supposed to have it, like it was some accident.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to happen to you.
It's
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel the same way because I'm not a gambler. I'm not a casino goer. Man, my
right.
wife don't go to the casino and play slots for $20 each for entertainment.
You
We
know.
don't even go for entertainment. And for me to even look in the direction of
Of
roulette
roulette,
4
right?
years ago was insane.
Yeah.
I kept telling myself, I was like, this is insane. Why am I even looking at this? I'm not a gambler. I don't gamble. I don't even know nothing about roulette. Hell, I had to learn the rules.
Right.
I didn't know anything about it. But I just looked at it and I was like, man, there's only 38 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a way to beat this.
Yeah.
And I tried to. I didn't know nothing about YouTube then. YouTube would have been nice.
Yeah.
At that time, I wasn't even on Facebook. I didn't have a Facebook account. My baby sister taught me into that for my customers and my business.
No, that's important. I mean, if you're into that.
I wish I'd have never got on it. They aggravated me to death, man. They drove me nuts.
I know it did, bro.
And it disgusted me with people. It really did.
Yeah.
And for a long time, man, I got to where I hated people. I mean, that's a terrible thing too, man. Don't ever go to that. Because that will eat you up inside.
Well, life just moved me here because I like to be in control of my life and my decisions, and I don't like to be dictated too much. I mean, I'm okay with following, but it has to make sense and it has to be meaningful. And so, going back to what I was saying earlier, if like I had a few businesses that I wouldn't tell anybody about. Like I try to keep it all concealed and this, that, and the other because you could do it. But this is so freaking amazing. Like I said, that if I try to contain it, I would probably lose my mind.
More than likely.
It's too much.
You would definitely lose your heart.
You lose your heart.
Definitely lose your heart. I'm telling you, man, you'd lose your heart. You would.
You would.
You would. You would lose your heart, man. You got too big of a heart to hold that in.
Yeah. I think it's the universe's way of saying it's so powerful that if you don't give it out, it, like you said earlier, it can kill you.
It can.
It can kill you
in a minute.
Yeah.
It can destroy you in 2 weeks' time. Cost you everything. Living on the street.
Yeah. It's that type of stuff. It's amazing, man.
No doubt.
It's amazing, man. Again, man, thank you for the journey. Glad you came aboard, bro. Really am.
Hey, man, I'm the one that's glad. Definitely glad, man.
That's good. Well, that's good.
I just can't believe anybody's offering this open to the public on YouTube. And I think that's what worries everybody.
That's one of the.
I really do. I think that's what worries everybody. They'd be like, well, if this thing really works,
why is it on YouTube?
$250,000.
Yeah.
It ought to be some secret society that's offering it, just to family. And you know what I'm saying? I think that's really what's worrying people, that it's too easy to get into.
That's the reason.
The ones you got, that's probably just like me. They looked at your permutations and your free videos and said, this works. And from a common sense business perspective, you're like, well, if he's selling something that works, well, he's got a mentorship program. That's got to be dynamite. And that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
And it is. It's exactly that. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
But that's got to be what worries people. It's too easy to get into.
It's too easy. But that's the only reason I even decided to do it, because it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And because of that, the string of people that will come is real short. and I didn't want it to grow too quick, and I knew that it was going to be slow. I wasn't looking to. I want to grow. I don't want it to be a big boom. That you don't want that.
No, no. Well, you can't have that.
No, I can't have it either. There you go.
They'll start. You know, I've even heard of some casinos putting a third zero on their wheels.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen one.
And I'm okay with that. We're okay with that.
Yeah, we don't care about the zero.
We don't care about it either way.
We don't care about the zero.
There's nothing that they can do. The only thing they can do is cut this game off.
Yeah.
Anyway, bro, I'm gonna let you get on back, man. I'm gonna get here to work and do some things, and but let's continue to do it. Continue to send me your results every day, like we doing. And
yeah, man, I'm going to.
another few. Once you hit 100, we're gonna have a new conversation. Once you hit 100, and then we'll be going from there, brother.
All right, man. Sounds good. Hey, what about the guy, the other student, or whatever you want me to talk to?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna send you his information, and he probably will contact you in about a week.
Okay, that sounds good.
Because he's out on vacation right now. His name is Eric.
Just tell him call me or text me, whatever. Let me know who he is, and I'll be glad to talk to him, man.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you.
You got it, bro. See you. All right, people, that was a student of mine. If you are still interested in joining, there's still some time. Permutationspro@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know. Watch the other videos for all the questions and answers and stuff like that. Till the next time.